There is a moment in every great sports rivalry when the story stops being about rankings and statistics and starts becoming something far more intense, about nerve, memory, and the pressure of expectation. Alex Eala is about to step into one of those moments. Across the net stands Iga Świątek, the defending Wimbledon champion, who claimed the title just 12 months ago with one of the most dominant finals in women's Grand Slam history, conceding almost nothing on her way to victory. A player who, at her peak, has looked almost untouchable. But this match carries a twist that changes everything, because Alex Eala has already beaten her. Not recently, not on grass, and not under these circumstances, but she has done it before. 15 months ago in Miami. Then ranked outside the top 100, Eala produced a stunning performance to defeat Swiatek 6-2, 7-5 on hard court. At the time, it was labeled a surprise result, an outlier, a moment that would not repeat itself on the bigger stages. The tennis world moved on quickly. The expectation was simple. The ranking gap would reassert itself, Swiatek would return to dominance, and that Miami result would fade into history. But sometimes, a single match does not stay in the past. It becomes a warning for the future. Wimbledon 2026 could be exactly that kind of stage. Because now, Alex Eala arrives not as a pure underdog, but as a rising threat with belief, momentum, and a game that has evolved far beyond that earlier shock result. The question is no longer whether she can compete, but whether she can do it again when it matters most. To understand why this is such a compelling matchup, you have to look at the very different paths both players have taken in 2026. Swiatek, once the benchmark of consistency and dominance, has endured a surprisingly uneven season. After lifting the Wimbledon trophy in 2025 with a historic final performance, expectations were for continued control of the tour. Instead, results have been inconsistent, with multiple early exits and a lack of titles to her name this year. Her record against top players has also dipped, showing cracks that were rarely visible during her peak years. Defeats have come from all directions. Elena Rybakina at the Australian Open, Alina Svitolina twice across different events, and a loss to Mira Andreeva in Stuttgart, among others. Rather than a single slump, it has been a season of scattered setbacks, making her form harder to predict and even more intriguing heading into Wimbledon. And that unpredictability is exactly what sets the stage for a showdown that feels wide open, dangerous, and impossible to ignore. Her retirement against Lynette in Madrid is one of those results that is always difficult to interpret. A retirement can mean anything from a minor physical issue to something more serious building beneath the surface, and in Swiatek's case, it only added more uncertainty to an already uneven season. Then came Roland Garros, the surface where she has historically looked almost untouchable, like a completely different level of player compared to everyone else. But in the fourth round, Marta Kostyuk delivered a stunning performance, beating her 7-5, 6-1. Clay had always been Swiatek's stronghold, the place where even her off days still looked better than most players at their peak. That kind of defeat, on her best surface, against a player outside the very top tier, forced real questions about her form. Her grass court preparation didn't bring much relief either. At Bad Homburg, Emma Navarro defeated her in 3 sets, a tournament designed to fine-tune Wimbledon contenders, but instead raising more doubts than answers. So, by the time Wimbledon arrived, the question surrounding Swiatek wasn't about her legacy or ability. It was about which version of her would actually show up. Her opening round match against Taylor Townsend only deepened that uncertainty. She won 6-1, lost the second set 2-6, and had to battle through the third set 6-3. After the match, she was visibly emotional, openly acknowledging the pressure and the weight of expectations she has been carrying throughout the season. That kind of vulnerability from a player of her stature says a lot. It shows just how real the strain has become. Her second-round match was more controlled, a 6-1, 6-3 when that looked closer to her dominant self. But the level of opposition didn't fully test her, and that has been a recurring theme this season. Comfortable wins over lower-ranked players, followed by struggles when the stakes and competition rise. That is the version of Swiatek walking into this third-round clash. Still dangerous, still elite, but no longer fully predictable. Now shift the focus to Alex Eala, because the contrast could not be sharper. While Swiatek has been battling inconsistency, Eala has been building momentum in a way that feels almost perfectly timed for a breakthrough. She began her grass court season in Birmingham as the top seed and walked away with the title. In the final against Nikola Bardenkova, she dropped the first set but found another gear to complete the comeback and secure her first grass court trophy. Then came Berlin, where her season truly elevated. At a WTA 500 event with no expectations on her shoulders, she produced a run that redefined her status. She defeated Donna Vekic in the opening round, then stunned world number 2 and former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina in straight sets, recovering from an early 4-1 deficit to win 7-5, 6-4. She followed that with another major win over world number 8 Alina Svitolina, 6-3, 6-4 in the quarterfinals. 3 consecutive victories over top 10 opponents on grass is not a coincidence, it is a statement. Tennis analyst Tracy Austin highlighted exactly why Eala's game translates so naturally to grass. She stays low through the ball, drives it flat through the court instead of looping it, and uses her left-handed serve to create awkward angles that skid and stay low. She takes the ball early, with minimal backswing, removing time from her opponents. On grass, where hesitation is punished, those qualities are a major weapon. She carried that confidence straight into Wimbledon. In her opening match against Renata Zarazua, she delivered a dominant 6-1, 6-2 win, striking 22 winners and winning 20 of her first serve return points, a statistic that underlines just how sharp and in control she has been from the very first round. Then came the second round against Maya Joint, the Australian who had already produced a major upset by defeating Serena Williams in the opening round. Alex Eala lost the first set 3-6, a moment that could have shifted the momentum against her. Instead, it became a turning point. She responded with complete authority, taking the second set 6-2, and then delivering a flawless 6-0 final set. A bagel set against a player who had just beaten a Grand Slam legend in the previous round is not just a win, it is a statement. The shape of that comeback reveals something crucial about Eala's current level. She is no longer just surviving matches on grass. She is actively rebuilding them when they begin to slip away. That ability to reset mid-match and elevate her level on demand is not something easily taught. It either appears under pressure or it does not. In this Wimbledon run, it has already appeared multiple times. That sets up a fascinating tactical battle against Iga Świątek, especially because this is their first meeting on grass. Their head-to-head is tied at 1-1, with Eala winning on hard court in Miami and Swiatek responding on clay in Madrid. Grass, however, changes everything. Swiatek's game is built around heavy topspin, particularly her forehand, which thrives on clay, where the ball jumps high and pushes opponents into uncomfortable positions. On grass, that same topspin loses some of its natural advantage. The ball stays lower and skids through the surface, reducing the effectiveness of her signature patterns. While she has adapted well enough to win Wimbledon before, it still requires her to flatten her shots more than she would naturally prefer and rely more heavily on her serve in key moments. That becomes significant when looking at her 2026 season. Her serve has been inconsistent, with her first serve percentage hovering around 63%. More importantly, a clear pattern has emerged. In 6 of her 11 losses this year, she has either lost in deciding sets or failed to close out matches where she held a lead. Tight, extended battles have repeatedly tilted away from her. That detail matters, because if Eala can drag this match into a third set, the momentum statistically and psychologically starts to shift. Eala's game, by contrast, is almost perfectly suited to grass. She plays flat, drives the ball through the court, and takes time away from her opponents with early contact. On a surface where reaction speed is everything, her timing has become one of her greatest weapons. Her left-handed serve adds another layer of difficulty. The natural slice curves into right-handed opponents and stays low after the bounce, making it harder to set up aggressive returns. Even elite returners like Swiatek, who dominate on clay and hard courts, have less time and less comfort reading that trajectory on grass. Another evolution in Eala's game this season has been her willingness to come forward. She has incorporated more net approaches, serve and volley patterns, and aggressive court positioning during this grass swing than at any earlier stage in her career. Against Swiatek, who prefers baseline exchanges and rhythm-based rallies, that variation can be highly disruptive. It prevents her from settling into patterns and forces her to constantly adjust rather than dictate.